What are you, some kind of half-ass astronaut?
If you're thinking of getting into podcasting, or you're already a podcaster, the Rodecaster Pro is an amazing piece of equipment. Now, you don't need it for podcasting, but if you have one, it'll enhance and simplify your ability to create a great show in a reduced amount of time, and it'll absolutely positively reduce your amount of post-production time spent on any program. The Rodecaster Pro is the world's first fully integrated podcast production studio. It doesn't matter whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned broadcast professional, the Rodecaster Pro podcast production studio is all you'll ever need to get started or from that point forward. Now, I've only been podcasting for 2 months, and when I first started out, I was running all of my microphones and my sound through a Yamaha MG82 8-channel mixer. And I have a mic in to the XLR input. I had an adapter for my iPhone, which was 3.5 millimeter to micro mini input to RCA input into the mixer. I had the two stereo channels going out of the mixer into my Focusrite Sapphire 6 USB audio interface, and that went from USB into the back of my computer. There were wires everywhere, and my post-production time was like out of this world. I'd sit down, I record right into GarageBand, which is what I was using originally on my Mac, and then I'd go back and add sound effects, and I'd go back and add in the intro, and if I had the intro pre-recorded ahead of time, I pretty much had to juggle between recording live on mic, switching to the computer, hitting a button so it would play through either my iPhone. Yeah, it was from my iPhone. I have the sound bite from the iPhone and have it play into the Yamaha MG82 and then live. It was a mess. But this is what the Rodecaster Pro does. It simplifies everything. And I am so blessed because my wife bought me this Rodecaster Pro for Christmas this year. And I am just thrilled with this thing. It's just an amazing piece of equipment. Now, this is the control panel of the Rodecaster Pro. It's broken up into 4 quadrants. You have your display screen in the upper left-hand corner. You have your sliders to control the volume of the input of your individual input devices. The first 4 sliders are for the microphone. So you have 4 microphone inputs, and each one has its own slider to control the volume of the input of those microphones. And each of those channels has an isolation or what's called a solo button, so you can solo that channel. And then the red button next to it mutes that channel. So you hit the green button to solo and just hear that channel, or red to mute it. Upper right hand corner, you've got the headphone volume adjustment. So if you have 4 guests in house and each has their own microphone, each person will have their own headphone mix. So channel 1 has a headphone jack for channel 1. Channel 2 down here has one for that. Channel 3 has one, and channel 4 has one. So each one has its own independent headphone jack, which is really sweet. And this is the record button. It's green when it's not recording, and it's red when it is recording, and it records directly to a micro SD card that you have to buy separately, and you insert it into the back of the Rodecaster Pro, and you can record and see your levels in the display screen as you're recording. And these are your sound effects trigger pads. You can put sound effects in there, you can bumper music, you can put music, you can put anything you want in there. I have all kinds of things programmed in mine. And there's some pre-programmed effects that come with it, but they're pretty cheesy. I've just created my own effects. And you can go in here, you hit the little 8th note, and you can go in and on your computer, when it's attached to your computer, you can change sounds. See, what do I have here? I have my introduction music, my bumper music that I play. And you have to move the slider up if you want to hear the music in your headset. So that's what I've got there. It's called Purple Mind by Said. And I get that. And what do I have down here? Scary music. This is one of the cheesy sounds they gave you. This is
You can wish in one
Burgess
hand
Meredith.
and crap in the other, and see which gets filled first.
So that's really cool. So you can do that on the fly, because before I had to I'll add all that stuff into post-production. It took me hours to do and figure out how to do it. This, I can just hit a button on the fly while I'm talking, and it all just kind of comes together. It's really awesome. Now, this entire system, the Rodecaster Pro, eliminates most post-production. It's extremely easy to use. It's basically idiot-proof. The operation and directions come on large laminated cardboard Pictionary boards that are about 12 by 8. And what information you can't find in the box and the directions you can find online at the Rode.com website or on YouTube. And this is pretty close to being plug and play. It's not completely plug and play because there's certain things you have to do through your computer. For instance, you have to plug in your Rodecaster Pro through the USB to your computer to download sound effects that you've created or you've gotten off the internet to put them onto the large sound effects pads on the right-hand side. There are some that come pre-programmed, but they're real cheesy. Some of them are cool, but they're mostly pretty cheesy. Now this is the control panel, and it's nicely lit, well displayed, and it's a touch screen. So you can use your fingers. You need to use your fingers to navigate through all the menus. Now here you go backwards. Let me go back here a little bit. Back. Now here's the main display screen showing the levels of the different inputs. So the green means your good level is now broken up. If it goes into yellow and the red, you're going to start hearing distortion in the sound. But this is just the basic, the basic levels of your inputs and what's playing through the Rodecaster or out of the Rodecaster Pro, into or out of the Rodecaster Pro. Now, each channel has its own level monitor. This is for the sound effects pads. This one's for Bluetooth. This is for your iPhone. This is for your USB over here. And these are the microphone channels. Channel 4, 3, 2, and 1 are all for your microphones. I'm on channel 1 right now. So as you see that, that's their levels. Now come up here to the left-hand side and tap on that gear. And that'll take you into submenus for the channels, the podcasts, the sounds. Hit the channels, and it'll show you the individual settings for each of the channels. 1 through 4. Go into 1. You can select microphone levels, advanced voices, so you can microphone, you can select different Rode style of microphones, dynamic condenser. I have a dynamic microphone, so that's what I selected for mine. And it's really, you can pick anything you want here. And it really, really is awesome. Go into levels, it'll show you the levels. You can set a certain level. Phantom power, if you have a microphone that requires phantom power, hit that button, you've got a phantom power. Go into voices, tone. You got a deep voice, a medium voice, or a high voice, depending on your guest or yourself. Select what you think is best suitable for that person. Go back here, take a look at strength. You got a soft voice, you got a medium voice or strong voice. You have somebody that's soft spoken, you pick soft. You pick somebody that's loud and boisterous, you pick strong. Go back here and go back again, and with the level. We've done that. Okay, in advanced, you have compression built into this thing. You got filters, you got noise gates, de-essers, ducking. You've got oral exciters, big bottom processing, all kinds of wonderful things that you traditionally would have to have in a digital audio workstation. You'd have to have this in like an Adobe Audition or something. But this comes built in. It's awesome. It's just amazing. All right. And then if you go down here, each one like USB has setups. Press on presets. You can say if it's set for speech coming in or music or none. And go over here to level. And again, you can set up the level for that input. Go over to a smartphone. Are you taking a phone call? You can take phone calls with this thing. Take phone calls, speech, music. If you've got your iPhone plugged in, you can take a call. You can play music from it. It's just awesome. Awesome. And the level of that input from the iPhone. So you have a lot of control over all of your devices. So we're back here at the beginning. There's a shortcut you can press to get to the effects and the adjustments on any individual channel. Right there, there's a number. You hit number 4, 3, 2, or 1 at the top of each of the first 4 channels, and you can make independent changes to the settings of any channel. Microphones, voices, anything you want to do. It's the quickest and easiest way to get into the effects for an individual channel. And these again are just buttons. Green to isolate that channel, red to mute it. And each channel has one. Now the overall construction of this is metal. It feels kind of like a pedal board that a guitarist would use. It feels maybe metal and plastic, but I think it's metal. And the sliders, the worst thing on this thing is the sliders feel real cheesy and weak. So as you play with them, you'll feel they kind of have a little wiggle to them. They feel like, maybe they are. Maybe I feel them. They're metal. They're metal, but they feel kind of cheesy to me. Not certain why. Not certain what cheesy sliders feel like, but they feel cheesy to me. Here's the back of this sexy beast. The red button is the power button with the universal power sign. Next to it is the power cord, DC power cord. Then you've got the USB cable. Then you got the micro SD card slot. And then you've got output. If you want to hook up monitors, powered monitors, you have left and right channels out. These are your 1/4 inch inputs for your headphone jacks. You probably need a 3.5 millimeter to 1/4 inch. Then next to it, you've got your iPhone input, which is 3.5 millimeter with the iPhone symbol above it. And then you've got 4 XLR inputs for your microphone inputs. Okay, and to get your firmware update, you're going to go to rode.com/Rodecaster app. And you'll download the app. It says right there in gold and white letters, download. Just click on that and make sure your Rodecaster Pro is attached to your computer via USB cable. Otherwise, you won't be able to upgrade your firmware. So you have to have the Rodecaster Pro attached. Click download, upgrade your firmware, and then you're going to get an application that allow you to load sounds and jingles onto the pads on the front of the Rodecaster Pro, but you have to do it on your computer. And you'll get this application. There's this colored application that matches the colors of the pads in the front of the Rodecaster Pro. And then you're going to go into a folder. Like I keep all my sounds in a folder. Here are some of my samples of sounds that I use in my podcasts. But I keep all of my sounds in separate digital folders inside my desktop. And all you have to do is you go in there. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to click on a folder. Let me see what we got here. What do I want to click on? What I want to load? We'll do a baby crying. I've got a baby crying sound effect. We'll drag that, we'll put that here, and that'll put that on the third bank, bottom left-hand corner, the third bank of sound effects, and that'll play a baby crying. And again, you have to have your Rodecaster attached to your computer via USB, otherwise it won't save. It's not saving on your computer, it's saving onto the software on your Rodecaster Pro. And let's see here, let's see what it sounds like. Oh, this gets bad. This is a bad one. I used this in one of my YouTube videos about call centers and screaming, crying babies that people call into call centers with screaming, crying babies. This is one of my sound effects. So if you just hit this button, this purple button in the bottom left-hand corner, while I just hit it on my Rodecaster, it'll play while you're in the middle of a show. Now you have to make sure the Rodecaster is attached to your computer because it's saving the sound on the pad, on the Rodecaster, not on your computer. And let me try some other sound effects. What else do I have here? I've got baby crying. Jaws. Here's a Jaws one.
Half-ass astronaut.
Try that again.
What are you, some kind of half-ass astronaut?
A what?
I just love this thing. It's great. As I had said earlier in my video, that you get these large laminated boards that come with the Rodecaster, and they're really awesome because this is what I like. This is simple idiot-proof stuff because I can be an idiot, sometimes, and I need simple things. Look at these. This is how to operate the Rodecaster Pro. Look at the size. This is like 4 times the size of my head with nice, pretty pictures. Look at that. Get the latest version of Rodecaster Pro software. On the back, it's got a big giant picture of the Rodecaster Pro, in case you thought you opened a box of pineapples. That's the first one you see, and then you've got step 1, 2, 3, and 4. Step 1 is connecting your microphone. How to connect your microphone. It gives nice, big, simple, almost, idiot-proof, just idiot-proof diagrams of how to connect everything. And how to connect your iPhone. Step 2, how to connect your iPhone through Bluetooth. Yeah, Bluetooth. Quick start guide. Back of that is step 5, 6, and 7. Recording a podcast. Recording a podcast to a micro SD. connecting your headphones, connecting your speakers, and then it shows the back of it, and then it shows the front of it and all the different buttons and sliders and things. Oh my, buttons and sliders and things. Oh, I look like Cobra. Yeah, I'm a bit odd, aren't I? That's why I stayed single for so long. So I love these, and it also comes with these little pads. I think they're for those grease pens that are erasable pens or erasable markers, and they're for each of the pads, the trigger pads for the sound effects. So you can write on them, say, you know, this is bank 1 and pad 1, bank 1 and pad 1, this is your intro music, and this is a sound effect, and things like that. You can write it down, and there's 16 different ones, because there's 16 different sound effects you can put on here. It's just awesome, man. I love it. The Rodecaster Pro is an easy, fun device to make podcasts. It eliminates a lot of the hassle of having external equipment, and you will love it. If you have Windows, if you run Windows on your PC, you need Windows 10. If you have a Mac, you need to have Mac OS 10.11 or higher. And this is an amazing piece of equipment. I love it. This has reduced my production time, cut it in half. But I think the most fun thing are the trigger pads on this side here for the sound effects. I use these all the time. I've always wanted to use sound effects in my YouTube channel and in my podcast, and I just love using them. Another thing I love is you can record phone calls on this. You just plug in your iPhone. You either play your iPhone, connect your iPhone via Bluetooth or a 3.5 millimeter jack, and you can call people, have people call in. You can have 4 guests live in the studio, one calling in on your cell phone. And so you can have up to 5 guests recording at a time. You can also record multi-track, so you can separate each input out into its own individual track when you're recording through the Rodecaster Pro into a digital audio workstation such as GarageBand or Adobe Audition or Pro Tools, things like that. So you've got basically 14 tracks on the Rodecaster. You've got the 4 microphone inputs, channels 1, 2, 3, and 4 are mono. So that's 4 channels there. The USB is 2 channels, it's stereo. So that's 6. The iPhone input is another 2, that's 8. The Bluetooth is another 2 tracks, that's 10. Then each bank of the triggered sound effects pads, that's two stereo tracks per channel or per bank. So there you have it, the Rodecaster Pro for podcasting. It's an amazing tool. You'll love it. If you're a new podcaster or an old podcaster, it's simple. It's easy to use. It's straightforward. There's no tricks. There's no gimmicks. It's a little pricey. It's rated anywhere between $500 to $700, but it's well worth your effort if you want to save time and production costs, if you want quality sound, you want quality effects. So there you have it. I'm PT Bob. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.
What are you, some kind of half-ass astronaut?